Hey, I'm Tyler.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the extravagantly reoccurring Power Half Hour Tuesday flavored edition. I am Tyler Holland, and with me we have Tyler Twombly,
Hey, I'm Tyler.
Lane Daughtry,
He's
What's
not
up?
Tyler.
and our producer, Nighthawk Wave Man, bro, also known as Josh Davis. Give him a shout out, Josh.
I'm very offended by the way you pronounce my name.
Oh, sorry, Joshua.
Boys and girls,
We also to the extravagantly have so many fun things for the schedule today. We've got some of your favorite segments that we typically do, some new things as well. I can't wait to get into it. Just to let you know, in the comments section, go ahead and start thinking about video game royale. We're going to do characters from video games against one another. That's going to be our Who Will Win segment today. It's going to be towards the middle/end of the show. So go ahead and be giving us some updated battle versions for that. Make sure you include where you want them to fight as well. I've got a list that includes Master Chief and Mario and Samus and Link and all sorts of people. So I'm excited about that. It might even include Gex the Gecko for anybody out there who was alive in the 90s. So it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. We also have the potential for Sports with Tyler, but definitely a new one today with Tyler Twombly. We're going to talk about your favorite, actually we're calling it Dinner with Four, and picking 3 people from history that you would most want to have dinner with and a conversation with. So be thinking about that. Put that in the comments. Do what?
The 4th is yourself. Spoiler alert.
The 4th is you have to be a part of it.
Like 2 minutes.
What
ago,
if I?
Yeah.
Am I supposed to add up? Anyways, go ahead. Continue.
What if I don't want to have dinner with myself?
Well, then I don't know. I'll think of something
Then
clever
pick
later.
form,
So
like,
we
talk
also.
about dinner.
We also are going to talk about the Bible, obviously. Don't forget the reason we're doing this is we want it to be fun, we want it to be hopeful, and we want it to point towards Jesus. So it's a crazy world we're living in right now. But we can have fun in the middle of it and encourage one another. So we're going to talk about the Word at the end. So just so you know, we're going to be talking about our favorite books of the Bible and our favorite passage from our favorite book of the Bible. So if you have something that you want to shout out in the comments that we can talk about, then go ahead and be doing that as we begin as well. And then we might have a couple other things in there peppered throughout, such as Movies with Lane, where we're going to talk about what we're streaming right now. So it's going to be a fun afternoon. I'm excited for this Power Half Hour. It might even be a Power 40 minutes today. Who knows? But I would like to take this time to shout out Desley. She's my daughter, and I love you, sweetie. Thanks for watching. All right, so now what we're going to
Shout out
do
to my
is
wife, Brittany. I love you. She's not watching.
she's not watching. She probably still loves you though. All right. So Lane, talk to us about what's going on throughout this week.
All right, so it is Tuesday. We are doing our fabulous half-hour reoccurring extravaganza. That will also happen on Thursday. It'll be Thursday flavored. Tomorrow we have theology with Tyler and Tyler. That is also at 3:00. And then on Sundays, our church, Whitesburg Baptist Church, will stream a sermon. That's good. It's great stuff. And then Mondays, we have Bible study, 3:00 for guys. And then I believe it's 6 or 6:30 for the girls.
So the girls is actually changing their time. This is just in.
Okay.
Y'all, it's breaking news. I didn't tell Lane this, so that is not his fault. But the girls have just changed their time to 5 to 6 from now on. So girls' Bible study will be 5 to 6. We'll get that adjusted on our schedules. But thank you very much, Lane. Anything else that we need to know about, Lane?
Not as far as schedule goes.
All right, awesome. Everybody be sure to hit subscribe if you hadn't done that already, and the notification button. Tell people about the stream. We want as many people in the comments having fun as possible, and as many people hearing about Jesus as possible, because like we always talk about, we're going to be lights in the darkness, and this is the way we get to do that right now in this world where we can't actually go see each other. So, in fact, the bug man just came to my house, and I went downstairs, and I had to talk to him. And he's a super nice guy, and he has on gloves, which I appreciate in this land of the pandemic. And so I go up to him, and I'm like, "Hey, man, do you need me to let you around back?" And he starts talking to me and like getting closer. And while he's getting closer, I'm like, "Okay, let's take it easy." Like I'm backing up as he's walking to. It's like, let's keep this a healthy distance apart. This is a crazy world we live in. So things are different, right? But it's all good. So the segment that we're gonna do first today is going to be a day in the life. Okay. So a day in the life, it's my turn to do it. We kind of been rotating between me and Tyler. and Lane, and we'll let Josh jump into the action here soon too. But our wonderful producer, just in case you didn't know, he likes to go by Nighthawk, man, bro, champ, and just if you listen carefully, you can hear him sigh. But today it's my turn, and I want to tell you a story. I want to tell you a story about an old bald man named Tyler Holland, who happens to have a few young children that go to bed at a reasonable hour for young children to go to bed. And after they got put in the bed, and Tyler's wife is doing her homework upstairs, and Tyler goes downstairs to break out the old Nintendo Switch and pulls it out. And all of a sudden, instead of hearing the music from Skyrim, which is a lovely game, he hears, and I'm like, what in the world? That sounds like it's in my house or coming through my chimney or something. And then I look outside and there's a light show going across the backyard. Okay. I'm talking about like a concert. There is a dude set up like he is a DJ in his driveway with the loudest speakers I've ever heard. I can clearly hear every word of every song in my living room with the door closed. And there are lasers, like it looks like a laser pointer is shining in my house. And there are lasers going around. And he's in the neighborhood next to mine. So it's my backyard, like a ravine with water. And then his his neighbor's backyard, and then his house. And I can hear every word clear as me and you are talking to each other right now. And it's like Peter Frampton all the way to music from Space Jam. So not going to lie, the music was pretty good, but it was so loud. It was so loud. So instead of choosing to get mad about it, I choose to pretend to get mad about it. And Daisha comes downstairs and I go outside and just start hollering as loud as I can, saying, boo, boo. Some people said I was being too crazy, you know. Yeah, tomato. But it was a fun time. It was a crazy night and it was memorable. And I'll let you know the next time. Maybe I'll try to live stream it on YouTube or something. It's crazy. But so that's what I was doing a couple of nights ago. And besides that, I want to talk about with all you guys, what have you been doing? In the comments, let us know for your free time. So hopefully you're spending time with the Lord. But what else have you been doing? Have you been like me playing your Nintendo Switch? Have you been reading a book? I've also been doing that. There's this book that's pretty awesome called Oathbringer. It's by Brandon Sanderson. It's part of this series. They're massive, but they're awesome fantasy books. And then I have been obviously playing with my kids and learning how to do school and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, what have you been doing? So guys, Tyler, Lane, Josh, what have y'all been doing in your free time?
Tyler, you first.
Oh man, ooh, the pressure. I've been playing a lot of video games, phone video games. There's this little football one called Retro Bowl. That's a pretty solid football video game.
Does it have
a lot of
neon
college
colors to
basketball
make it
10. Dude, they do. It's very bright, super
Nice.
blocky. The guys run like this.
Cool?
Wow.
It's awesome. Homework.
Oh
It's
my.
garbage. I hate it.
Homework.
Walking my son he's got this little 3-wheel trike and he like just wheels around, and then sometimes he'll get really excited and just go like that's what he'll do. His
Wow.
feet will kick and he'll almost fall off. And
You got to let
Lane,
them
what
learn to
about
fall
you?
and get up sometimes, you know.
Isn't that a song? Get knocked down,
Yeah,
get
yeah.
back up.
I don't know
Lane,
who
go
it's
ahead.
by.
Yeah. So, my roommates and I, we went to Lowe's earlier today, and we some materials to make a fire pit in our backyard. A little fun project for us to have something to do and then have something to entertain ourselves. And burning stuff is cool, so that'll be fun. So we're gonna be working on that the next couple of days.
Lane's going to
You
go
should
burn the
talk.
coronavirus.
That's
You
right.
should talk to Michael Potter.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah.
He has, and don't quote me on this. I don't know if YouTube's watching. He has a bucket of kerosene. He
A
says he's
bucket?
waiting to use.
Yeah. I wonder if that bucket has a lid on it. That'd be important.
I
That
mean,
would be.
just
He
as a
didn't
side
say.
note, the song. I looked up. I just looked up on Google. When you get knocked down, you get back up again. Song. And what came up is this song called "Chumbawamba" by
Yeah.
Tub Thumping. And the
Yeah.
other one.
Chumbawamba is a very famous song, Josh.
Yes.
Have you not?
Yeah,
Yes. I'm
it's a
just for
classic.
those who don't know. And the
Where
other
have
one
you
is
been?
"Get Back Up" by Toby Mac, which is a
Get
very
back
good
down.
Couldn't have been
Yeah,
that one.
that's
There's
wonderful.
no way it was that one.
Get
It's
knocked
got to be
down, get
Chumbawamba.
back up. Anyway, what I've been doing lately is I've been watching more YouTube than I should be. And the other thing I've been doing is reading the book The Right Side of History by Ben Shapiro, because I would do that. which is how reason and moral purpose made the West great. It's basically tracing like Jewish law, as well as like Greek reason into like how those things combined to make the legal system in the West.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm reading a book about warring kingdoms who are fighting against something called the Everstorm, and they have these things called sprints that give them powers. So it's basically the same thing. It sounds like.
Definitely. Fiction is not. Fiction is
One of
not
us is
really
34. All right. We are now gonna go.
and the other goes by Nightwing Guy Man.
We are now gonna go to. Well, actually, Josh. I didn't mean to cut you off. Is there anything besides reading that book that you're doing?
I was just playing Rocket League with my brother. He's home from college.
Nice. All right, so now we're going to go to Tyler Twombly's segment that I'm really excited about.
Oh yeah.
Dinner for 4.
Ooh, man, I had a hard time thinking about this. I was gonna do mostly athletes, and then I realized that those aren't as historical as some figures, or as some people think those figures are really worth. Because I probably would have said Michael Jordan. But we could do a separate table for 4, like a sports edition. So I try to pick people who are deceased and relatively well known amongst most people. So I'm going to start with Alexander the Great, as number
Good
3.
choice. Good choice.
George Washington as number 2.
All right.
And Billy Graham as number 1.
That's nice.
How would you overcome the language barrier? Didn't think about that, did you?
I would just hope that Alexander the Great could understand that we're eating good food and having good time. If he doesn't understand and I end up dying because of it, it's just the way it's gonna be.
That's fun.
Nice.
So the
All right.
rules are so they have to be dead. And
yeah. I made that rule just
Okay.
now.
All right, I've got my 3.
Let's hear it.
So I would go with first off, in no particular order because I'm excited about all 3 of them. I would go with number 1. Steve Irwin's great. I loved him when he was alive. I watched all of his shows. I would do Theodore Roosevelt because he's pretty awesome and he did lots of cool stuff.
Well, bully for you,
liberal.
And then number 3, Martin Luther. He did things that are a pretty big deal. So
wait, which one? Martin Luther King or Martin Luther King Jr.? Because Martin Luther King was like a very bad anti-Semite. So yeah, you don't want that.
The 95 Thesis guy. Martin Luther.
It's the same. It's the same.
As an aside.
Yeah.
Sam Hanley makes a great point. Says Jesus isn't dead, so maybe we can't say him. Matthew Frederickson is actually kind of stomping on my answers over here. He says Jesus and Abraham. So Matthew, great minds think alike, I guess, or either our minds do. But we have Jesus, and let's go ahead and say I can't count Jesus since Sam's right and he is alive. So I'll say
we're gonna eat with him someday.
Boom. Ooh. I'm gonna say Peter from the Bible. I'm gonna say Abraham Lincoln, and I'm going to say I'd be interested. Gosh, there's so many I'd be interested to talk to. Let's say Benjamin Franklin. I'd be interested to talk to Benjamin Franklin.
Very American.
Shoban had a good one with Amelia Earhart. Yeah, that was a good one. Also, Lane, when you said, "What if I don't want to eat with myself?" For some reason, I thought in my head we could do a list of people, like 4 people that you'd want to watch eat. And I think that that's totally different. So I'd want to watch Genghis Khan eat because there's no way that that's entertaining. No, just watch him.
Okay.
Well, with Alexander the Great,
that would be something.
Someone listed Napoleon. I think Napoleon would be a good one to watch.
Napoleon Dynamite.
And a fourth would be shout out to Daisha, Dennis Rodman. He's not dead, but
That's a good
it's
one.
my game now.
Yeah.
Watching them all eat, no interaction, just violent shoveling of food into their mouth.
All right,
be amazing.
I'll throw in Danny DeVito into mine too.
Ooh.
Hey, all right, let's do this. Let's all add one entertainer. So one like just silly one that would be
Boom,
fun.
done.
Mine is recently-ish dead. Robin Williams. He was like,
Oh.
he's like a huge part of my childhood and my humor. And he was in Hook, one of my favorite movies of all time. Ms. Doubtfire, all sorts of like
Now I'm sad.
silly '90s movies for kids, as well as he's a really good actor in some other movies. But he's the genie, obviously in Aladdin. But I would love to have a meal with him and just listen to him kind of be funny for an hour.
Yeah.
It's so hard. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of the three that I want. The one that I'm like sure would be like really interesting would be Paul.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of two other ones. The entertainer, probably, I guess John Mulaney would be funny. That'd be interesting.
He's pretty funny.
For the two other ones, it's so hard because I just.
You seem like a big Larry the Cable Guy fan.
Here's your sign.
I'm joking.
You said three, so three dead people and then one entertainer. I'm just trying to think of two other like people who are dead that I'd like really be interested in talking to. It's hard because obviously the founding fathers are like they're very good answers because obviously they have a lot to talk about, but it's just like
they're not good answers. They're easy answers.
That's kind of what I'm saying is the reason I wouldn't want to pick them. I mean, I think that Paul and John Mulaney would be an interesting meal. That'd be funny.
For sure. Okay, I know another one that I would pick. Dietrich Bonhoeffer. I think he would be really cool to talk to.
That'd be cool. I would go Steve Carell with my entertainer.
There you go.
Ooh.
All right.
Him and I sitting across, no talk.
Final call for Table for Four. Anybody else want to talk about anybody specific?
I'm still solid on Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito, who gave me nightmares as a child as the Penguin when he like bit somebody's nose. That was crazy. Batman movies were not kid friendly when I was like 5 years old. I remember specifically my parents telling me I couldn't watch the 1989 Batman. I was 4 years old. And because I was 4 years old and it was a Tim Burton movie and he's creepy. And the movie's awesome though, but I was too young and my parents were watching it on VHS in the couch and I snuck in there and watched like half of it and they didn't know I was in there. And I was the only child at the time. I might have had a baby sister. But I snuck behind the couch and watched it and I had nightmares that night about Jack Nicholson's Joker. So turns out my parents were right. But so that's my Batman story. Anyway, now it's time to go to movies and TV with Lane.
What a fantastic transition. Talking about Batman going into the movies. All right, so today is a very special day for Star Wars fans because today is the official release date for Star Wars Episode 9 on Blu-ray and DVD.
Oh.
So if you haven't, you don't have it, and you want it, go out there and get it. That's what I'm going to be doing later today.
I heard there's a documentary on it that kind of fills in some plot holes and stuff. Have you heard about that?
I have. I'm looking forward to watching it and maybe being angry or maybe being happy.
So if you want a B-rated Star Wars movie on Blu-ray or DVD,
everybody time out. Everybody calm down. Let's calm down. I can feel the tempers rising.
I'm happy.
And it's about to go down.
Let the anger flow.
That's a good impression. A limited fake Palpatine. That was impressive. Are we satisfied with directors adding to the movies that they made, like with other info later in interviews, documentaries, and whatever?
I mean,
not at all. All information should be implicit in the story itself.
But it's their art, but they neglected to put it in the movie.
That's
so
true,
obviously,
but obviously it's their art, so they should have a say in how someone experiences it. If they wish to only put a certain amount of information in a piece of art, it's not the consumer's decision on what they want to get. What gets out.
But it's also the producer and the production company's decision on what will be put into the film.
That's true.
Yeah, but you can't totally say it's the artist because we're buying it. Like everybody's spending a ton of money to consume said art. It's not like, hey, here's my art for the public's to the public to know what I feel. It's like, hey, I want you to go spend a whole lot of money. Let's be honest. Star Wars is made so that people can make a whole lot of money, which is great because I like it and it's fun. But
yeah, I totally agree. And I think, sorry,
you're good.
I'll end my part with this. I think it makes their original piece of art less valuable. Like it doesn't matter because there's more to it that they're giving to you later. And so it's like there's this whole thing, this whole story that we love, and then they're like, oh, we actually meant it this way, and you're like, wait, so I watched for nothing.
Yeah, I think it's a very sensitive topic, an issue that has good and bad answers.
All bad. Sure.
Well, that's debatable, but anyway, but that's coming out today, and also it is accompanied by the concept art book that Amazon will deliver to me by the end of the day. So that's so I'm gonna look at all the.
That's pretty awesome.
Is that a prophecy lane?
It should have come out in December when the movie released, but they were delayed on the concept art book, so I pre-ordered it and was a little upset.
Gotcha.
But anyway, our next section of this is we are discussing what we are watching or streaming right now, or making suggestions for other people of what they should be watching and streaming. So I'm actually not streaming anything right now, but I have 2 things that I'm watching right now, and I actually, things to show. So Tyler, you'll love this. We are watching season 1 of Teen Titans.
Teen Titans.
Oh, God, that's so good.
And then
not Teen Titans Go, kids.
Right.
Teen Titans, the real Teen Titans. That is a legit show.
100%.
My parents never let me watch Teen Titans because when it came out, I was a child.
We just finished Avatar: The Last Airbender, and now we're watching The Legend of Korra, and it's fantastic.
You are 3 for 3.
That's what I'm watching.
Shows to watch.
And then what I would suggest people to stream is there's this fantastic little show on Netflix called Stranger Things. So good. Go check it out. You'll love it.
There you go.
Well, what's it about?
It's about Stranger Things, Tyler.
Rebecca asked if I was in Hawaii. Yeah, how did you know? Tyler, what about you? What are you streaming right now?
Does live TV that goes to Hulu count?
Sure.
Okay, so
cable counts.
Looking around for wife to make sure she's not behind me ready to pound me.
You know this is going to be on the internet, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So American Idol has really come back in terms of popularity, entertainment.
I'm called up.
Look, I'm going to be honest. I doubted that Lionel Richie, Katy Perry, and the country singer would be enough to really make me want to watch, because I used to be entertained with how mean the other people were, and it just seemed like, nice hand holding now.
That's a no for me, dog.
That's a no for me.
It's a good quote. It's a good quote. But the artists are supremely more talented than they've ever been. It's more entertaining to watch their faces make bad choices as it's ever been. I'm all in. There, I said it.
Lionel Richie is a legend.
Lionel Richie is like the warm uncle who, even when he gives bad news, is like, but I'm so proud of you for even trying.
That's crazy. That's so true. You're so right about that. But there was a kid this season, he was like, I'm going to be honest. And I was like, what happened to Lionel Richie?
No, but he was doing that in that situation. He was doing that because he thought the kid had potential, and he wanted him to check himself before he wrecked himself. Lionel Richie is just a wise old man trying to guide the youth of American Idol. You know,
his voice is like drinking warm chocolate milk.
Yeah,
I don't know how to respond to that.
That's okay.
Wait, Josh, what are you streaming?
I mean, something that's very nice is that the new season of Clone Wars just came out on Disney Plus. So watch the entire thing, like all seasons. Okay, no. Watch the movie first, and then go and watch the series, because you need the good entry point.
I need to catch up on all seasons of Clone Wars. I've seen like random episodes throughout my life. It's been coming out since I was y'all's age.
Another Disney Plus recommendation is just go watch Phineas and Ferb.
Yep,
that's a good one.
Phineas and Ferb. Yeah. Also post my time, but that's good.
If you have young kids, the show Bluey It's an Australian show, cartoon about
All right,
I think
Bluey.
it's like collies or something. They're little dogs. It's pretty entertaining. I
Cool.
watch it with my son. There.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Tyler, what are you streaming?
So I'm
You gonna tell us
streaming.
about is this
I actually had American Idol on my list to talk about as well. Obviously, disclaimer. Idols are bad. It's the name of a TV show. I'm not saying idolize the people singing. Okay. So Flash, really good. Wolverine and X-Men is about a 10-year-old cartoon that's on Disney Plus if you have it, and it is straight cash. It is awesome. Now it might not have the legendary theme song that goes da-na-na-na-na. I can't do more than that, or we'll get copyright infringement.
Cash.
But it's a great show. It's only one season. It got canceled. It got canceled right as they were going to do an Age of Apocalypse arc, which would have been awesome. So I'm really sad about that. But and then Survivor. There is a lot of Survivor. There are a lot of Survivor series to watch. So I recommend checking some of those out if parents allow it. But some of those are pretty entertaining as well. So yeah, all sorts of good stuff. Now keep in mind, we're saying this is after you spend time with the Lord, after you're making sure that you're staying plugged in. So don't just spend time doing this stuff. But yeah. My brother-in-law says that there are snowflake judges on American Idol right now.
How dare you? You're not wrong, but how dare you?
Yeah, I mean, in our youth, to be fair, Simon was pretty mean, and that was really entertaining.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Speaking of snowflakes, I just kind of would like to take a second. Like, can we at all take a second to talk about the new Marvel characters that just got announced?
Let's save that. Let's save that for next week because we're up against time.
We'll do movies with Lane and Josh.
Ooh.
Yeah, movies with Lane and Josh next week. Stay tuned. Or actually Thursday. How about that?
Will fly.
We will go now to who will win favorite video game character edition. So I have a very clear list of who I want to talk about, but first I'm going to send it. We're going to start with Josh this time. Josh, give me 2 video game characters to go against each other.
Interesting. I mean, this one is kind of an obvious comparison. I think that you just take. I don't know, because you said you wanted to talk about this person.
You said it was obvious, and you still haven't said anybody.
No, I know. How about Link versus the Doom guy?
Okay. Link versus the Doom guy.
Yeah, the Doom guy.
I'd say Link is the hero of time, so you have to go with. But let's get everybody's comparisons in before we start talking about it. So Tyler, what do you think?
I think so. I was thinking about this. I love
comment section. Tell us too. Yeah,
I loved Kingdom Hearts. I would go with Sora versus Cloud from Final Fantasy, which actually I think Cloud features in Final Fantasy 2, but I don't remember that.
Yeah,
he's got a big old sword. I remember that.
Huge sword, but a key sword versus that whatever it is sword. I didn't play Final Fantasy.
That'd be really fun to watch.
That I just said.
And wasn't Sora Haley Joel Osment, Sixth Sense kid?
I think you're right.
Yeah. Deep cuts on Power Half Hour.
Yesterday we talked about Big Fat Liar and Max Keeble's Big Move, so those were also deep cuts.
There you go. So what are your video game characters, Lane?
Let's see. I would also do Link, but that's not fair. So I would say let's do some villains. Let's do Ganon.
Ooh.
I call him Ganondorf, but whatever.
Yeah, Ganondorf, Ganon. Let's see. Good villain. What about? Okay, this is good. What about Ganondorf versus just like a horde of zombies from like The Last of Us?
I think that he would recruit the zombies to be on his side and then go fight Link.
See, no. Do you want the zombies from Last of Us, or do you want the zombies from like Call of Duty?
Zombies from what?
Like, do you want like Last of Us zombies or like Call of Duty zombies?
Fast ones or
let's do
slow
Call
ones?
of Duty zombies. They were faster.
I just can't get over that y'all keep saying duty. All right, so now I'm going to go with, we'll say Master Chief versus Sonic. I think that would be an epic battle. I don't know if you know this, but Master Chief was originally a child on a planet, and he was named John. And somebody came to recruit him and flipped a coin. And the way that they knew he had the it factor was he could guess what side the coin was going to land on, but it wasn't really a guess. He just had such good reflexes and eyes that he kind of knew where it was going to land. And then they kind of did a Weapon X type thing to him. And look, to be honest with you, I've read Halo books. Okay, I'm a nerd. But Master Chief, he's got the it factor. He's got the it factor times a million. But then Sonic the Hedgehog. I mean, come on, the dude is fast. He runs through rings. Fast. He has a best friend named Tails who can fly with his tails. Yep. He's got some qualities that could win.
But you didn't say versus Sonic and Tails. You just said Sonic.
You're right. And because of that, I'm going to have to choose Master Chief. That Spartan armor puts him over the edge.
I just wonder, would he have a hard time seeing Sonic because he's so fast?
He might, but he would have killed a Covenant member that was carrying the Needler gun, and those needles were heat seekers, so they would eventually get to Sonic. And even though Sonic is a porcupine type character, even though he's a hedgehog, I know that, but he would get exploded by the needles. So sorry, kids that love Sonic, but he died.
Has some great weapons.
Yeah, absolutely. So now we're gonna go on, and thank you. In the comments, we Ganondorf by Amy Johnson. So sick burn. Pikachu versus Yoshi. Solid there. Link versus Majora. Link versus Jim the Worm. Donkey versus Bowser. Actually, it says Browser. But
is it Donkey
probably Bowser.
Firefox.
We got Charizard versus who is Dementia? I don't know who that is.
I don't either.
All sorts of good ones here. The coronavirus from Plague Inc. versus Dr. Mario. Samuel Hanley wins. Congratulations, Samuel. You won. Dr. Mario has to win that because he just has to. Coronavirus can't win. Arthur. Oh, there's just some good ones in here. All right. We're gonna go ahead and move on to our final segment because over 30 minutes. We're going to talk about the Word of God. We're going to talk about, in place of the Diva today, we're going to talk about our favorite books of the Bible and our favorite verse from that book. I'm going to cheat and say 2 in a minute, but let's hear, guys, just whoever's ready, go ahead and tell us what your favorite book of the Bible is. In the comments, go ahead and give us some answers as well.
I'm ready.
All right, Tyler.
Ephesians is my favorite book in the Bible. It's very encouraging, God glory, and equipping to your own person. So it's not just theology focused, but how to live focused. My favorite verses is chapter 2, my favorite chapter in the Bible, 8 through 10, which says, "For by grace you have been saved through faith. This is not of your own doing. It is the gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast. For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk."
Yeah, that's awesome.
Big fan.
My favorite book of the Bible is Hebrews. It's great. It's very dense and it's got some great content in it. Just lots of guys talking about like the lordship and how God is sufficient in all things, and He is the better version of Adam, and He's the better version of Melchizedek, and all these different things. And then my favorite verse in that book is 4:16, where it says, "Let us then approach God's throne of grace with confidence and boldness, so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help us in our time of need," which I think is very applicable for today.
Absolutely. What do you say, Josh?
I like Deuteronomy. Even though
Old Testament, nice.
I think that even though we don't have to follow, as Christians, we are not required to follow a lot of the old law that was given to the Jews. I think that there's still a lot in this book that is applicable to.
Well, Jesus came to fulfill the law, not to abolish it.
That is true. One that I just found is Deuteronomy 39 through 10, which is, the Lord your God will make you abundantly prosperous in all the hand of your work, and all the work of your hand, in the fruit of your womb, and in the fruit of your cattle, and in the fruit of your ground. For the Lord will again take delight in prospering you, as He took delight in your fathers, when you obey the voice of the Lord your God to keep His commandments and His statutes that are written in the book of the law, when you turn to the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul.
Solid, man. That's great. In the comments, my wife mentioned Romans 12, and wouldn't you know, we are one because I have it open to 12. The other one that I had was actually Ephesians, but Tyler stole that. So mine was Ephesians 6. I love the verse that talks about we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers and principalities over this present darkness. I think that's awesome. But Romans 12 has the Christian pump-up speech is what I call it. The March of the True Christian is what it's listed as in here. But especially from 9 to 21 is awesome. But do not be overcome with evil, but overcome evil with good is like one of my favorite verses of all time. It's Ephesians 6:12, Romans 12:21, two of my favorite verses ever. But do not be overcome with evil, but overcome evil with good. That's what it's all about. Like we're in a world. I don't know if you know this, but coronavirus at the end of the day is a sin problem because it's a part of a broken world. The world is broken because sin entered the world, and not only man fell, but the world is not how it was meant to be originally either, or how it was before sin. So we have this opportunity in the middle of this hardship that exists, in the middle of this sinful world that exists, to say, hey, we get to be a light in the dark, and we get to not be overcome with evil, not be overcome with brokenness, not be overcome with darkness, but overcome evil with good. And we know that all good comes from Jesus. So if we stay in a relationship with Jesus, if we stay as close to him as we possibly can, and we reflect his glory and his light, then the world will be changed forever, and people's eternities just might be changed forever if we plant those seeds of hope and telling them that we have a problem, that God has a solution, and then we have to make a response, and we trust him to water those seeds and to interact with those people in such a way that they give their lives to him. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? So we get that opportunity to go out and spread the word, to be lights, and it's such an exciting thing to be able to do that. So don't forget, that's why we're here. Even in the silly stuff that we're talking about while we're doing YouTube, at the end of the day, we're here because we get to talk about this at the end of it, because we get to talk about Jesus, and we get to talk about why we aren't being overcome by this bad situation that we're in right now with the quarantine and all that stuff. But we have hope because at the end of the day, we know that regardless of what happens, we get to be with Jesus forever. But that doesn't have to wait until we die one day. Like, we could start that relationship right now, and we get to do things on his behalf right now. And that's awesome. So I challenge each and every one of you to do something on behalf of the Lord this week, to call your grandparents or call a friend and say, hey, are you spending time with the Lord? Or how can I encourage you? Or how can I pray for you? And just be an encouragement to them, be a light in this darkness. And even if it's something that you feel uncomfortable doing, even if it's something that you feel awkward doing, it's going to be something that blesses those people in your life. And it's going to be meaningful to them, and it's going to be fulfilling your job as a Christian. And if you're not a Christian, please, please, please hit us up in the YouTube stream or our direct messages. Feel free, obviously, to call me or Lane or Tyler or text us or whatever, and we would love to talk to you about what that would look like. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming, for commenting, for participating with us. We love doing this. We look forward to it. And thank you so much again to our producer, Nighthawk Wingman Bro, Josh Davis, for setting it up. You can hopefully tell a noticeable difference in the quality of the stream, and that's just because of Josh. So thank you so much, man. And y'all are awesome. So don't forget, be a light and stay classy.